Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my review of Lucha Underground Season 1, Episode 39, and this is the season finale of Season 1 of Lucha Underground. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to review this episode, give my overall thoughts on it, and then I'll talk about what I overall thought of Season 1 of Lucha Underground. Um, so, I'm just going to get right into this. Um, so, this episode was called Ultima Lucha Part 2. And this episode was taped on April 19th, 2015, and it aired on August 5th, 2015. This was a 2-hour special. Um, and we had Matt Stryker and Michael Vello. I don't know how to say his last name, but he was taking Vampira's place since he was wrestling on this show. And we had the first match on the show. It was Johnny Mundo versus Alberto El Patron. I really like this match, but I never understood why they didn't put the AAA Mega Championship on the line because I thought that would have been really cool. But yeah, this was a really good match here. I thought this surpassed any of the matches they've ever had with each other. Alberto El Patron gets the advantage throughout the beginning portions of this matchup. He hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Johnny Mundo, and he beats the crap out of him. And Johnny Mundo's trying to escape Alberto El Patron. He ends up first before that. He tries to escape from him, and then eventually Alberto El Patron catches him. He throws him into Dario Cueto's office, and then he throws him into the announcer's table. And then Johnny Mundo tries to go underneath the ring to hide, and Alberto El Patron can't find him. And then eventually, when he pulls him out, Johnny Mundo grabbed some dirt that was underneath the ring and threw it in Alberto El Patron's face. And then he ended up hitting a running knee right onto Alberto El Patron. He ended up hitting his leg sweep into a backbreaker and then like another backbreaker on Alberto El Patron. And he really took control of Alberto El Patron. He really dominated the face of Alberto El Patron. But he ended up hitting a DDT right on the apron. Then eventually Alberto El Patron started to make his comeback. He hit a reverse superplex from the top turnbuckle. And Alberto El Patron started firing away on Johnny Mundo. And he had a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. He went for a kick to the head, but Johnny Mundo moved out of the way and hit a springboard spin kick. But Alberto El Patron ended up kicking out of it. And then eventually Johnny Mundo hit the end of the world, but Alberto El Patron kicked out of it the first time. Alberto El Patron got him in the cross arm breaker, but Johnny Mundo was able to get out of it. And then Alberto El Patron went for a super kick, and actually, yeah, Alberto El Patron. Well, Johnny Mundo hit the double stomp into the world. That's how he. I already mentioned that. Then Alberto El Patron went for the super kick again. Johnny Mundo pushed the referee in front of him, and he low blowed Alberto El Patron. He really went to school on him, but then Alberto El Patron got him into a cross arm breaker, and Johnny Mundo ended up getting out of that. And then Alberto El Patron continued the attack on Johnny Mundo. He hit a cross arm breaker right over the ropes. And who comes out? None other than Melina. Former WWE superstar Melina was here. Obviously, at this time, she was the girlfriend of Johnny Mundo. When we know they're not together anymore, but this is a dated episode. And she hit Alberto El Patron with the AAA Mega Championship. And then Johnny Mundo hit End of the World, and the referee made the count. But the referee was down there doing all this, so we didn't see any of this happen. And Johnny Mundo won this match, and I liked it. This match was really good. I'm going to give it 3 3/4. I thought it was a really good match. And then afterwards, Alberto El Patron attacks Johnny Mundo, beats the crap out of him, throws him into a stack of chairs in the audience, and then he throws him right into a window in the audience, kind of getting revenge on him. So I like this. You know, Johnny Mundo won the match, but Alberto El Patron still got his revenge in the end. And then Melina's yelling at him, and then Alberto El Patron puts Melina on top of right over his knee and slaps her right in the ass, which I kind of thought was funny. Um, but yeah, I thought this was a really good match, and I thought this was a really strong start to the show. And then we see a segment with El Dragon Azteca. He comes into the room where the Black Loudest is being held, and he's about to free her, and Dario Cueto comes in and realizes that he's there, and I guess they had some sort of deal where El Dragon Azteca couldn't show up to the temple, or else he would send his brother Mantazna Cueto to murder him, and El Dragon Azteca begs for his life, but um, Dario Cueto says he doesn't have to, and then the Black Lausas holds him against the cage, and she palm strikes him like right in the back, I guess pretty much killing him. And Dario Cueto lets her out, and he tells her to come with him, but she doesn't want to go with him. But Dario Cueto says that because she just murdered this guy, we have to go find a new temple. So they so Dario Cueto says he's the only one that can protect her, and he's gonna run off with his brother Mantazna Cueto. So I actually really liked this segment. It was kind of a nice way to blow off that feud. So I liked it. It was really good, and I loved it. Then we had the next match. It was a Moro Cito match, which is basically a no disqualification match. Pentagon Jr. versus Vampiro. Great match. A lot of people might say it really wasn't much of a wrestling match, but if you've ever watched a Vampiro match, it really doesn't need to be a wrestling match. And because Vampiro really couldn't probably work a wrestling style, I thought this worked. And Vampiro definitely showed that he could still go. I love this. So let's talk about it. So Pentagon Jr. grabs a steel chair. He attacks Vampiro with it, and he beats the crap out of him with this chair. And Vampiro ends up going up into the stands, and he ends up brawling with Pentagon Jr. on the stands for a little bit. And Vampiro ends up getting down, and Pentagon Jr. exposes the ring mat and exposes the concrete and hits a Death Valley driver right onto Vampiro, right onto the concrete. And um, then the referee, and then Pentagon Jr. throws a couple of steel chairs at Vampiro. He ends up grabbing a steel chair, and while there's a steel chair on his arm, just hitting him right in the arm. And the referees put a stop to this, and the referees send out Vampiro on a stretcher. And we think the match is over, but the match wasn't over. Vampiro ends up getting to his feet, and he continues the attack onto Pentagon Jr., hits him with a chair, and he ends up pulling out thumbtacks, and he hits an arm drag right onto Pentagon Jr., right on the thumbtack, and then he goes to do a senton off the second turnbuckle, but Pentagon Jr. moves out of the way, and he ends up going back first into the thumbtacks, and then Pentagon Jr. pulls out a fluorescent light bulb and hits Vampiro right off the skull with it. It was brutal. Like, that was awesome. And then he pulls out two more, and Pentagon Jr. Sets it up in the corner, and Vampiro ends up fighting back, and he arm drags Pentagon Jr. Right into the fluorescent light bulb, and it explodes into a million pieces. And then he ends up pulling the mask off of Pentagon Jr. and he grabs the another fluorescent light bulb tube, and he cracks Pentagon Jr. right over the fucking skull with it. And Pentagon Jr. is just massively busted open. Vampiro's massively busted open as well. And he grabs a table, he lights it on fire. The Pentagon Jr. hits like a choke slam through the table, and Vampiro ended up getting lit on fire, so the doctors put it out. Pentagon Jr. makes the cover on the outside. I don't know if they did. I don't know what happened, but I'm assuming. But they said it was a falls count anywhere, but whatever. But I loved it. This was a great. This was a great match. Pentagon Jr. wins, and then afterwards, he calls for his master. But then Vampiro gets in the ring and wants Pentagon Jr. to break his arm. So he does, and then he calls for his master, and Vampiro reveals that he was his master, and he's going to teach him the ways of Lucha Underground. And Pentagon Jr. was even surprised about this, and I was surprised about this. I didn't expect it. And you could say there's logic flaws, like why did, if he was his master, why did Vampiro go through the shit kicking? I guess the explanation would be is Vampiro is a sick fuck, but also this was kind of a way to see. This was a kind of a way for the master to teach the student to see if the student was ready to take on the master. Um, and I love this. This was a great match. 4 stars. This really put over Pentagon Jr. And I heard that Vampiro's come out and said that he wasn't even supposed to be Pentagon Jr.'s opponent at Ultima Lucha. His original opponent backed out, and he wanted to put over Pentagon Jr. And he did just that. This made Pentagon Jr. look like $1,000,000. This was awesome. So great match, 4 stars. Then we had the next match. It was a 7-way match for the inaugural Gift of the Gods Championship. Phoenix versus Aerostar versus Bengala versus Big Rick versus Jack Evans versus King Quano versus Sexy Star. The match started off pretty slow. I think it was because everybody was just in awe of that great no disqualification match. But obviously too, it just kind of started off slow. Big Rick ends up taking out everybody, and then everybody just realized that they could just work together and take out Big Rick. So that's exactly what they do. And this match pretty much was had like a lot of big spots in it. Phoenix and King Quano went at it for a while. King Quano hit Phoenix hits a super kick on King Quano. King Quano hits a Hurricanrana, and Aerostar and Phoenix went at it for a while. Bengala hits a really cool flip moonsault on the outside. Sexy Star hit a really cool dive on the outside. Big Rick hit a really cool Rick bottom onto, I believe, Phoenix or Jack Evans. I forget which one. Jack Evans hit a really cool bridge roll up onto Aerostar, but Aerostar still kicked out of it. And he what else was really cool in this match? Phoenix hit a really cool 450 on the outside. He had a really cool super kick onto Bengala. King Quano hit a really cool suicide dive onto Aerostar. Aerostar hit a really cool dove right off the top of the temple, right onto Sexy Star, Bengala, Aerostar. Well, no, Bengala, Jack Evans, and Phoenix. And you could say this match might have been overbooked, but I thought the interferences that happened in this match made sense. First, Marty the Moth Martinez comes out and he attacks Sexy Star, or tries to anyways, and Sexy Star fights back and puts him in the tilt-a-whirl Fujiwara armbar, and I love that. And now this makes sense because one, Sexy Star beat him to get to get one of her medallions, one of her Aztec medallions, and this also made sense considering the fact that Marty what they did later on in the show. And Jack Evans hit a really cool 450. Aerostar hit a really cool springboard splash onto Jack Evans, and Big Rig's about to win this match, but Delavar Davari comes out and hits Big Rick in the back with a chair, and then hits him right off the skull and fires him, which made sense because I think Delavar Davari was supposed to be in this match, but Big Rick took his spot, so I like that. So that made sense. And then eventually the finish comes when Phoenix hits the running firewood red fire, standard red fire. It's pretty much the running pile driver onto Jack Evans for the win. But this was a really good match here. Like, I couldn't really do this match justice. There was so many spots in this match that took place that it was awesome. I even forgot to mention the spot where Sexy Star dove on Phoenix, Aerostar, and Bengala. Which that spot kind of didn't really make any sense because Phoenix held them there and just stayed there and took the move. That really didn't make any sense, but I still liked it. So yeah, overall, really good match. 3 3/4. It was great. and Phoenix wins the Gift of the Gods Championship. Now, considering what they did later on in the night, it made sense, and I like this. And Phoenix is somebody that has been pushed for a while, so I think it made sense for him to win this championship. Then we had the next match. It was we had the next match. It was Tejano Jr. versus Blue Demon Jr. Before the match gets started, Blue Demon Jr. reveals that under his request, because he's such an elite athlete, Dario Cueto has made the match a no disqualification match. And this match I thought was good. This was definitely the weakest match on the show. I think a lot of people crap on it because it takes place with a lot of like stats, but with a lot of like really good to great matches on the show. But I don't think this match was bad. I thought it was good. It was a little weird, but it was good. Tiano Jr. dominates the whole match pretty much, and then eventually the crew who accompanied Blue Demon Jr. to the ring beat the crap out of Tiano Jr. and Blue Demon Jr. gets ready to hit him off the head with a kendo stick, and Chavo Guerrero Jr. runs out with a steel chair, and him and Blue Demon Jr. have like a face-off, because they still have history with each other. But then Chavo Guerrero Jr. hits Tejano Jr. off the head with a chair, and Blue Demon Jr. makes the cover and gets the win. So overall, I thought this match was good. 3 stars. I'll just say that right now. Then afterwards, Chavo Guerrero Jr., the crew, and Blue Demon Jr. all celebrate together. We find out that Blue Demon Jr. and Chavo Guerrero Jr. are in an alliance with each other. And I did kind of like the symbolism where Chavo Guerrero Jr. handed, I didn't mention this actually was the finish. He handed the chair to Blue Demon Jr., and Blue Demon Jr. hit Tejano Jr. with the chair. Because in the second episode of Season 1 of Lucha Underground, Chavo Guerrero Jr. took out Blue Demon Jr. and with the steel chair. So I kind of thought that was kind of like a nice symbolic moment right there. And I like this. I liked the storyline. It was fine. What really didn't make any sense, well, I shouldn't say what really didn't make any sense. I think the reason this was kind of like a little bit convoluted was I think Chavo Guerrero Jr. was hurt coming into the show, and I think he was supposed to face Tejano Jr. On this show, but then obviously they kind of had to book around it because he was hurt, so they went with Blue Demon Jr. instead. So I think that's why this was kind of a little bit overbooked, but I still thought it was fine. Everything kind of still clicked and made sense, so I thought this was good. I didn't hate this. Then we had the main event. It was a Lucha Underground Championship match. Lucha Underground Champion Prince Puma versus Mil Muertes with Katrina ringside. And the only way you can win this matchup was by pinfall or submission. Great main event. I loved it. I don't know if this was the match of the night or not, honestly. I think it was. It was great. And Prince Puma immediately attacks Mil Muertes. He hits a Enziguri on him, and he ends up hitting a wicked super kick on him, but it has no effect on Mil Muertes. And they end up fighting into the crowd. Mil Muertes throws him on the outside. They fight into the stands, and he ends up body slamming him onto the stands. And then Prince Puma hits a thrust kick, setting him right over the stair railing into the next section of the audience. Prince Puma hit Mil Muertes with a fan shoe, which I thought was funny. And then he uses Katrina as a battering ram to beat up Mil Muertes, which I thought was a cool spot. And Mil Muertes hits him with a chair. And he hits him with a trash can lid. And he throws him into the announcer's table, chokes him with the cables. And Mil Muertes dominates the matchup for the next few minutes. He sets up a chair in the corner. But then Prince Puma starts to make his comeback. He throws Mil Muertes into the chair into the corner. He hits a really cool flip dive on the outside. And he hits a really cool super kick. Really cool springboard splash, but it's not enough to put away Mil Muertes. Mil Muertes hits a spear, and he set up a table on the outside. And Phoenix fell onto the table, and it didn't break. It just kind of like collapsed. And I don't think that was supposed to happen. I think the table was supposed to break, but he improvised by just powerbombing him through the table. So I thought he improvised really nice. And then Mil Muertes hits the actually no, that's not what happens next. And then he goes for another spear. Prince Puma counters into a Insuguri. Prince Puma hits the 630, and Mil Muertes kicks out of it. And then Mil Muertes hits a spear that spins um, Prince Puma right in half and hits the flatliner on him. Prince Puma kicks out of that. I don't like wrestlers kicking out of finishers, but because this was such an important match with an important um, title on the line, I was fine with it. And obviously, too, this really put over the finishers, too, as dominant finishers, because nobody really has ever kicked out of Prince Puma or Mil Muertes finishers, so I was fine with this. And then eventually the finish comes when Mil Muertes hits the flatliner off the top turnbuckle for the win, and he becomes the new Lucha Underground champion. And afterwards, the Disciples of Death come in with the Lucha Underground Trios champions, and um, pretty much the show ends showing that Katrina, Mil Muertes, and the Disciples of Death have a threshold on Lucha Underground. I liked it because this gives people intrigue to want to watch season 2, and I thought it made absolute sense. Then we had the end of the show. It was kind of wrapping up everything. Dario Cueto and the Black Lotus take money and they go on the run. They run away with their brother Montaz Cueto. And you actually got to see his face for the first time. He looks like he's a beast. I don't know if he's a beast because I've never seen him before, but he looks like a beast. And what else happened on this? Phoenix left with the Gift of the Gods Championship, and King Quano, he leaves in his car, and King Quano drives after him. And this was weird. Marty the Moth Martinez, we see him going crazy, and says that and he's saying to someone that you're gonna meet my sister, and you're gonna serve us and like it. And we see that it's Sexy Star, and she's all tied up. So I don't know where that's going. Drago and Aerostar kind of have like a shake hands and respect, saying until we meet again, and they leave, and their respective like pyro goes off or whatever. And then we see the guy in the hood put on Al Dragon as Tekka's mask and write Lucha Underground with on the stadium with a question mark on it. Kind of question whether or not Lucha Underground will continue. And then Dario Cueto leaves with that evil, sadistic smile. And then the last thing you see is to be continued. I want to make sure I didn't forget anything. Oh, and also Pentagon Jr. asked Vampiro where do we go next, and Vampiro says to a much darker place. And then Helico and leaves, and Son of Havoc says we're gonna get back our Lucha Underground Trios championships, and then he leaves with Evil Legion and says one final ride, babe, kind of referencing that they might be back together. I don't know if that means they are or not. I kind of would like it if they were. So yeah, and yeah, I like this because this kind of gives people a reason to want to watch the next season. I don't know when the next season was because this was August 5th, and the next season was on. I mean, January 27th. It's not too long of a wait. They kind of um. So I didn't really mind the fact you had to wait. This kind of blew off angles and gave people reasons to you know this gave people reasons to kind of want to watch the next season to see what's going to happen with the Cuetos, to see what's going to happen with that Marty the Moth Martinez sexy star angle, which I'm interested in, just because I'm more intrigued to see how crazy it's going to get. So yeah, I love the ending. So I love this. Ultima Lucha was a fantastic show. A plus, a 10 out of 10, easily. No flaws on the show whatsoever. I loved everything about it. And then we get to the my thoughts on the season. See, what's kind of tough about reviewing like a season of this show versus like I do this with The Walking Dead too. The Walking Dead has like 16 seasons and it only focus really. I mean, yes, they'll switch storylines here and there, but mainly there's one storyline that's focused on Lucha Underground because it's more of a it's because it's like a wrestling company. It kind of focuses storyline. They don't focus on one main storyline mainly because the black mainly because you it's a wrestling company and there's a lot of more wrestlers to kind of write stories for than in than in a show like The Walking Dead or even like a Breaking Bad or something like that. But overall, I you gotta say, great season. I think this kind of took the sports entertainment and the sports and did it better than WWE's ever done it because I love this season of Lucha Underground. It was kind of like a TV series a way of doing wrestling, and it was something that's never been done before. And I thought it was a great way to do it. I thought too, like what they did a good job is when somebody was on TV, they had a purpose to be on TV. Everybody had some sort of storyline on the show. Um, and I loved Dario Cueto in the show. I liked Prince Puma. I liked Johnny Mundo. I liked Alberto El Patron. Everybody on this show, I loved. If I had to say the standouts of this season were definitely Pentagon Jr., Dario Cueto. I'm not going in order, but Pentagon Jr., Dario Cueto. I can't really say Vampiro because he didn't really have like a big role until the end. But Pentagon Jr., Dario Cueto. Actually, I'll do top five. Pentagon Jr. was probably be number five. Number four would be maybe Alberto El Patron, just because he was like a big star that came in and stuff. So number three would be Prince Puma. Number two would be Johnny Mundo, and number one would be Dario Cueto. Um, but I even like to see, but I even like that storyline they did where they brought in the Lucha Underground Trios Championships and like the rise of Son of Havoc. I like the story. I like the crew storyline. There was just so many interesting things that happened in this season that I loved, and I loved Lucha Underground. I think it's a great show, and I hope it continues to stay this way throughout the rest of the seasons. Because it was fantastic. I would definitely recommend watching season one. Um, I think too because it was like something we hadn't really seen before too. We haven't really seen wrestling done this way. It was a different way to do wrestling. So yeah, I liked it. I would definitely recommend watching Lucha Underground to people who've never watched it before. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on season one of Lucha Underground. I don't know when I'm gonna review season two. It could be tomorrow, it could be some other point, but that's my thoughts on Lucha Underground season one, and that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for subscribing, I guess, if you have. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. Make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers and on the Talkinator channel. I think I'm gonna take a break. I think I'm gonna take like a day break from posting wrestling videos on this channel since I've watched so much Lucha Underground. I need to take a break from it. I might make an appearance on my own the Talkinator YouTube channel. But that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.